to the idiocracy, boy. Hey! We're gonna take you through this journey of this idiocracy. Straight news. All facts. All real. No cap.
It's a limited time period. And we did nothing wrong. And if you look at the statements, they showed that even in 2011, I guess the number was $258 million in cash. A very strong company. I don't believe we really, maybe I wouldn't do a couple of deals or something, but I wouldn't have even needed to go to banks. Banks loved our business, they loved our deals, they weren't defrauded, they lost no money, they made money, they had the finest attorneys that there are. Frankly, their attorneys were better than my attorneys. And they made a lot of money, and they considered me a very good client. I paid them back on time, on schedule. There was no default. They never even sent me a default letter. Not one. For years, never got a default letter. And there's no case here. There's no victim. The banks aren't a victim. The insurance companies are a victim. Everybody got paid. It's a terrible, terrible thing. This was for politics. Now, it has been very successful for them because they took me off the campaign trail. Because I've been sitting in a courthouse all day long instead of being in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, or a lot of other places I could be at. This is a horrible situation for our country. It's never happened before.
Good evening. Today, justice has been served. Today, we prove that no one is above the law. No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules. We have a responsibility to protect the integrity of the marketplace. And for years, Donald Trump engaged in deceptive business practices and tremendous fraud. Donald Trump falsely, knowingly, inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself, his family, and to cheat the system. Today, the court, once again, ruled in our favor and in favor of every hard-working American who plays by the rules. Donald Trump and the other defendants were ordered to pay $463.9 million. That represents $363.9 million in disgorgement, plus $100 million in interest, which will continue to increase every single day until it is paid.
$250 million civil fraud trial against the former president and his business took an even more personal turn today. As we mentioned in the last hour, that guy, that was Donald Trump Jr., the ex-president's oldest son, took the stand this afternoon, answering questions about his responsibilities as Trump Org executive vice president. Donald Trump Jr., who's not just a witness but also a defendant in the case, was the first of the Trump family members expected to take the stand over the next week. In the middle of the night, the ex-president posted on his social media platform a message to the judge in this case, to leave his kids alone. They're not just innocent bystanders or kids. They are current and or former high-level employees of the Trump Organization who, according to New York Attorney General Letitia James's lawsuit, were deeply enmeshed in the fraud scheme. Quote, as executive vice presidents, the three children were intimately involved in the operation of the Trump Organization's business. They were aware of the true financial performance of the company, whether through Donald Trump Jr.'s work on commercial leasing, Ivanka Trump's work on Doral, Trump Chicago and the old post office, or Eric Trump's work on the golf course portfolio. The lawsuit adds this, quote, and in their roles as executive vice presidents, each of the three Trump children have familiarity with, responsibility for, and made use of the statements of financial condition in commercial transactions. A conclusion that contradicts Donald Jr.'s deposition from last year, a clip of which we played at the top. Here's what comes next in that conversation when Donald Trump Jr. denies having any knowledge of accounting principles that would be required for statements of financial condition.
That's pretty much what I remember from Accounting 101. So.
Have you told me everything you know about GAAP?
Basically. I'm sure I could come up with some creative stuff to kill time, but I'd be doing neither of us a favor in terms of educating ourselves.
Okay. Thank you. So, fair to say you've never been employed in a position that required you to apply GAAP to your work?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Wow. Little reminder as we go through Don Jr.'s testimony today. The judge has already decided, he has already ruled that fraud happened, that fraud was committed. That is settled. What's on trial now is how much the Trumps owe for their fraudulent behavior.
Do you recall being on a video conference call in 2021 to discuss the statement of financial condition that was also included Mr. Bernie, Mr. McConney, Don Jr., and Ray Flores?
I don't remember a video conference in 2021 talking about the statement of financial condition. Did I mean, maybe you could show me something, but again, I don't think I ever signed a statement of financial condition. I don't, I've done a lot to try and jog my memory, and I simply can't because I don't think I've ever had any involvement in the statement of financial condition, to the best.
Now the latest on the business fraud trial of Donald Trump, the former president's oldest daughter testifying today as a witness against her father. And in no way was it like daughter, like father. No way. Ivanka Trump speaking calmly and with no shortage of "I don't recall" in her answers. She is the third of Mr. Trump's children to testify, and the last, and she is the only one who had a White House job title when he was president. NJ Burkett at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan covering the trial for us. Newt.
And that's right, Bill. The temperature in the courtroom today was about 30 degrees lower. None of that bombastic give and take, back and forth that we saw here on Monday. Yes, Ivanka Trump appears to have a faulty memory, but the contrast with her father here was stark.
Ivanka Trump came to state Supreme Court because she was ordered to, having lost an appeal to be excused from testifying against her own family. In court, she was poised, confident, and at times even earnest, but every bit as obstinate as her brothers before her, insisting repeatedly that she knew nothing about her father's financial statements. I would assume he would have personal financial statements for accountants, she testified, but those were not statements I was privy to. Claims she first made in her video deposition.
I've never prepared one. I don't know. I've never made one. I'm not an accountant.
Donald Trump and his two adult sons are on trial here for defrauding bankers and insurance brokers by wildly overvaluing the former president's net worth and real estate assets. Ivanka Trump was originally named in the suit, but was dropped on appeal. Ms. Trump was questioned about her role in obtaining financing for the company's acquisitions of the old post office in Washington, D.C., and the Doral Golf Resort in Miami, and whether lenders demanded assurances about her father's net worth. It was a general presentation, she testified. I don't recall with specificity any discussion of financial statements. It was a familiar response. Ms. Trump said she couldn't recall details so often. Assistant Attorney General Louis Solomon threw up his hands in frustration after confronting Ms. Trump with her own emails. When I ask a question, she doesn't remember, he complained. The witness does have a recollection, Your Honor. Attorney General Letitia James insisted the evidence is clear.
She was very much involved. We uncovered the scheme, and she benefited from it personally.
And with that, the state of New York rested its case late this afternoon against the Trumps. Now, defense attorneys announced just moments ago that they will file a motion tomorrow for a directed verdict claiming that the state failed to prove its case. That motion is not unusual, again, expected to be filed here tomorrow.
We're raised with so many of the same values, like you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
This is welcome to the idiocracy, where the headlines don't make any sense at all. Yeah, the truth is twisted, you can't ignore. Just hold on tight, get ready for the journey through the idiocracy. This is welcome to the idiocracy report, where the stupidity is the new sport. The logic's gone, no intelligent science, but the plan's clear because it's got